So hello viewers and welcome back to another video on Video Geeks. So this might be the first video for you if you are watching the Video Geeks for the first time, and some of you might know us already, and some of you might also know that we run our videogeeks.in website where we post the blogs, and if you are interested to read more about the documentation stuff, so you can go and check out that. So for every viewer who are watching this video right now, as a Video Geeks, we want to say to you that Happy New Year. All the goals that you might have kept for the 26 you might achieve, and we believe that you can achieve. So with that motivation in your mind, let's start this video without wasting much time, where we are going to learn about artillery. So you might be wondering that what is artillery. So you might be aware that we are focusing on the testing part of the software side for quite a long in our YouTube channel, right? So we have covered Cypress, we have also covered the Playwright, but we are yet to cover the advanced versions of both of those frameworks, or you can say a tool, right? But we are starting with right now we are starting with the artillery. So the previous two tools that we have used or we have seen on Video Geeks, those are for automation testing, right? Now this tool artillery that can be used with in addition with the Playwright that we have recently learned. First of all, that's the first thing that you can see on their website also. So this is the official page of artillery, and you can go and check out here. The link is artillery.io, right? So you can check out and just explore the home page. Don't go much deep into the docs. So this tool is basically used for the load testing, or you can say the performance testing. We have also used seen the JMeter on Video Geeks, and by the time I'm speaking all of this, the link of the playlist might be popping up over here on the top right corner in the right button. So you can just click and go there if you want to watch those videos, right? So we have covered the basic as well as the advanced versions of the JMeter. So yeah, just promoting the videos that we have already covered on the Video Geeks. But ignoring that, so artillery is very useful tool because this can be used with lot of other options or utilities. So you can see and check out over here, it can be used with the AWS, Okta, and every other tool that you can see mentioned over here, right? So if you have the tests that are already written in the Playwright tool, so end-to-end test, those all the tests that you have written that can be easily integrated with the artillery, and you can integrate the load testing with the Playwright test that you have already written for the automation testing of your software, right? So in this video we are going to see and take a look at the first 2-3 sections of the docs for this artillery, where we will see that how to install and how to execute our first artillery test. So let's get started with that. So we'll get on the Visual Studio Code right now, and as you can see, I have created a GitHub repository. If you want to have a link over of this repository, I'll have a link in the description box. You can go and check out from there, and every session that we usually teach on the video, we'll post it as a GitHub repository, we'll post it as a blog, and we'll post it as a video also. So all of the mediums are available for you in the description box. You can go and check out all the mediums. Right now the installation part is very, or you can say, quite easy. So I have prepared the readme file, so that is the lesson 1, the documentation for the lesson 1 that you can see, right? And basically this all the stuff reference that I have mentioned over here, they are all reference from the official documentation. So if you want to go to this official documentation and read this, you can learn, or you can read this setup artillery CLI section if you want to see how the detail of how to install the artillery, right? And there are lots of other options other than npm. I have installed it using the npm, and I'll teach you how to use or install using the npm, but you can install using p, npm, yarn, or bun. Other options are also available, so you can explore based on your feasibility, right? Now the installation part is very easy, quite easy. You just need to run this command, which is called lpm install -g. Now -g is to install it as a global tool, so that every time you run artillery, you don't need to mention npx. You can just write artillery and the command that you want to execute, right? So that's how -g's option is used. If it's not working for some reason, it might ask you to escalate your privileges, because you might not get the administrator access in the terminal directly. You need to open it manually by yourself. So you can just use this without G, and every time when you run artillery you need to prepend it with the npx. So that's just the functionality and how the things to the side where and how you install it. Now after you install it, you might want to wonder that how can I verify. So first thing is, if you run this command, you will have this node modules created for you by default. If not, then there might be a problem in the installation. Then other than that, you might also want to check out this command. So you just need to open the terminal and you can write npx artillery version, right? So that is the first thing that you can do to verify that artillery is installed successfully on your system or not. So if you run this command, you will have the information of what is the version that is installed, that is what is the version of artillery that is installed, right? So you can get that information by running this command. Also, there is another command that I have mentioned over here in the repository, so npx artillery dyno. So this is the default test that by default is written in the artillery installation itself, and what it does is it creates a sample test, or it runs the sample test. So it checks all the functionalities of the artillery are working or not. So you can run this command, and what it does is in the background it will test the feature of the artillery. So if you see this kind of response, you can see this, right? If you see this kind of response, then it's working perfectly fine. So these are the two things that you can do if you want to see that artillery is installed or not, right? So that's how you verify. So now we'll teach you that how you can run your first test with the artillery. And when I say first test with the artillery, I mean how you can perform the load test using the artillery on endpoints of your application or the API that you might have created. Now with artillery, we have the option to test the API, the load testing or the performance testing for the API also, and for our web applications also. Now for the web applications, we can mimic the user behavior by integrating our playwright scripts, right, that we have already written for the automation test. We'll in the upcoming videos we'll see how to do that, but for now we'll just test the API performance testing, or we'll test the performance of the application, or not the application, sorry, the APIs, right? So to do that, we have the two options. So the first one is we create this YAML file, this YAML format, or we can create the TypeScript file. Now in this video we'll teach you with the YAML file, but in later we'll also cover the TypeScript version of the test, right? How to write the test using the TypeScript versions. Now we'll use this section which is already available on the official artillery documentation, which is called run your first test under the getting started, and it has all the details that you need if you want to run your first test, right? And all the details are mentioned over here. I'll just quickly cover what is there, right? So basically the YAML file have two main sections. So first is config and the second is scenarios. Now config sections basically stores the information about how the user traffic or the load will be generated, and where it will be where the load will be provided, or you can say what is the endpoint where you want to perform your test. So all the information about the test, where it should perform, with how many number of users, with how much load, and how much time should it take. So all the information will be mentioned in the config section, right? And the scenario section. So scenario sections, that is only useful when you are writing the API test cases. That is also useful in non-API test cases, but it makes more sense when you perform the API testing, right? So you can look at this particular YAML format, and you can easily guess that each and every user or the traffic that will be generated from this config section, it will go through this scenario. Now the scenario is like this. So you can see the flow is mentioned, and inside flow you have the loop. So these are the three endpoints that is there, and the main URL is mentioned over here in the config section, which is called target. So when the user will come, or the first thread will be generated from the configuration sections. So that will go through the dyno/dyno URL, then it will go through slash pony, then it will go through slash armadillo, and this will the thread will keep on throwing the get request to these three URLs in the loop till the count is 100, right? So that's the scenario. That's how you define the scenario. So you can also read the description over here. That is where we define what the virtual users created by the artillery will do, right? So that's the basic definition. Now the configuration section is very simple. So first we mentioned where we want to throw all the traffic or all the virtual users. Then we define something called phases. Now phases are very important. So the phase is usually defined or usually provides the load over the period of time. Now you can see the in the production level test cases, or if you call it the performance testing at the production level, it has multiple phases. So you can see here we have defined the three phases. First is warm up phase, where you can easily get the description of warm up phase. So it will be, so the duration of this phase is 60 seconds. So it will start with the arrival rate of one virtual user, and when I say virtual user, it's the thread that will execute this scenario, right? Now arrival rate is 1, so every second one virtual user will be created, and this process will ramp up to 5 virtual users per second, and the duration is 60. So gradually arrival rate will increase up to 5 users per second, and this phase will last for 60 seconds. Now once this phase is completed, this second phase will start, which is called ramp up load. So now the name that we have given over here, those are completely dependent on us. You can name it whatever you call, right? We don't care about the name. This is just for the human understanding. We just need these three values to perform the test or to describe the phase. Now the second phase is ramp up load, where you can see the duration is 60 seconds. Now we start with the arrival rate of 5. So per second the 5 virtual users will be created, and it will gradually increase up to 10 virtual users per second. Now the last phase is spike phase, where the duration is 30 seconds. Now here we'll start with the 10 virtual users per second, and it will ramp up, it will gradually increase up to 30 virtual users per second. So that's how you understand the phases. Once you define the phases and the scenario and the configuration, you are good to go. Now apart from those all the things, the test description, you can also get the information out of your test by default. So there are certain parameters that we want to learn from the test that we are doing, such as what is the latency, what is the threshold, what is the response time. All those parameters we usually take when we perform the performance testing or perf testing, right? Now if you want to do that automatically, what we can do is we can use something called plugins. Now these are the plugins that we can use. I mean, there are lots of other plugins that we'll explore in the doc sections in the later on videos, but the plugins are completely dependent on the artillery. So we are using Ensure, APDEX and Metrics by Endpoint. So these are all the plugins that we are using, and all the plugins that we are using over here, they will make sure that we validate something or we get certain inputs or certain data. So such as you can see this Ensure plugin. So this plugin will ensure the Ensure plugin that the response time for P99 is 100 milliseconds or less than or equal to 100 milliseconds, and P95 is less than or equal to 75 milliseconds. Now APDEX is something you can say systematically defined index that you can also research on the internet by yourself, and that threshold should be less than or equal to 100. So this will APDEX plugin will verify that. And metrics by endpoint means all the endpoints that we have over here, the data from these two plugins will be categorized into metrics by endpoint. So all the metrics will be categorized by the endpoint. So that's the job of this plugin. So that's how you interpret the YAML file, and that's how you write the YAML file. By the way, this entire file is written over here and you can explore that file, and you can explore this section if you want to understand it in better ways, right? So I hope the understanding is clear. Now it's time to run the test. So while running, artillery comes with the two options. So one, we can use the this command, which is called npm artillery run, and then the file will be the YAML file will run, and we can see all the data on the terminal itself. Now we have very useful option which is called web UI. So we can log into artillery IO. So this is the dashboard, artillery IO, and you can get this kind of dashboard where you can see the live execution of this test. So what will happen is, if you run this exact command with the ---- record flag, with the ---- key and the API key that is mentioned over here, right? So I should blur this key when I am editing the video. So what you can do is, you can put that key over here, and when you run this when you run this file, all the data will be transmitted to this kind of dashboard, and this was the previous run that we took. So you can see this kind of amazing dashboards while you finish the test, and these are the checks that we performed. This is the AP desk, and these are the errors. So basically there were no errors, but we had these two checks, P99 less than or equal to 100 and P95 less than or equal to 75. Those both are failed. Now what we can do is, we can change this value, right? And let's see what happens. So we modified our file npx, and I'll run this file with the API key. So I'll skip that part because we have the API key and it should be private. You don't have to, or you must not share this API key with anyone. So I'll run that, and we'll see how it looks in live onto our dashboard. So just give me a second. So you can see the test has been started, and you can see this is the test, the live data that is coming out of the test that we are performing, and you can see all these metrics will be start to show over here once we get the enough data, and you can see the points, the graphs started to be visible. So yeah, you can see this is the way how the graphs are forming, and this is the test data is coming live from the dashboards that we are from the test that we are performing, and we can see directly onto the dashboard without having me to set up everything. And you can see how cool or how easy it is to get the data out of the test that we are performing, and this is very great actually, right? So we'll let the test complete, and after that we'll see the dashboard, that how it looks and how it gathers the data. So we'll see you after the test is performed. So as you can see, the test has been completed, and you can see the text log so this text log is from the terminal. So terminal text log that we are seeing, that we can directly see on the dashboard of the artillery IO. And as you can see, so the previous test that we executed, so I'll just go to the home. So this test failed because we failed on the checks that we have this. So P99 is that should be less than or equal to previously it was 100, so that failed. So I changed the values and now it passes. Now this was the APDEX value. So this is the some standard indexes that are defined while we do the performance test. So that's why the standards are not that good, and you can see it says 49 terrible. So basically there were you can say 99.9% requests that we made, those were tolerated, and 363 were frustrated, and 0 were satisfied. So based on the threshold value, it categorized the requests that we made into 3 categories: satisfied, tolerated, and frustrated. So 99% was tolerated, that's why it says 49 terrible performance index. And now you can see the graphs are visible like this. You can see the information is categorized by the endpoints. So you can see these graphs, right? You can see the checks, HTTP codes, byte downloaded, we use, and all the stuff. You can also have a comment over here if you're working as a team. You can also share this dashboard to your team. So that's how you can execute all the test cases. You can also filter by the metrics. So all the metrics that we have kept, all the metrics that you might want to get the information or the insight about, that you can get the graphs from over here. And I think that's it. So for the first video we have seen enough, and you can already see, I can imagine that you must see the power of artillery, that how good it is. And the fact that it is already integratable with the playwright test, it makes it as a perfect tool for you to adapt with the testing workflow. So yeah, that's it about this video, and I hope you have got the idea about the artillery installation and stuff. If you are new to this channel, just subscribe to Video Geeks, and we'll see you in the next video. Till then, keep learning and keep exploring.